Okay, so now here we are in Metamorph. Now in Metamorph I have this stream dialog. If I disable the stream dialog, I set 100 time points here, 9.8 milliseconds of exposure. We'll go over to our wavelengths. We have two channels. Again, we'll do 9.8 for the exposure time. Just double check those. And then we'll go ahead and start the acquisition. What's interesting is here we're getting, again, it's kind of hard to see, but we're getting pretty much the same 70 milliseconds, 60 to 70 milliseconds of delay time. So that's not really that great. Now, if we go back into Metamorph and enable streaming, this is where things get really interesting. And what this shows is the general concept of using streamed acquisition. So I'm going to turn on streaming time and streaming multiple wavelengths. My exposure time here is 9.8 milliseconds. And now I'll run this and we'll look at how long it takes to do 100 frames. So here we're going to say go 100 frames, and we can see that my camera exposure is 11 and my shutter exposure is 16 milliseconds. So that I would ascribe to a delay related to, if anything, my code inside my little box there. But that's the way these systems should work in terms of high-speed synchronization of the device. So 9.8 millisecond, call it 10 millisecond exposure time produces an 11 millisecond camera open shutter time. I can ascribe that 1 millisecond to error in my system. And then we have a shutter delay of 16 milliseconds, which makes sense to me, again, probably due to just overhead on my system, but nowhere near the 60, 70, 80 milliseconds we see in conventional methods. So this is just a great general example of why streaming is so important.